Hello people, it's me, DarkspinesSonic, aka the one and only Sonic, and today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how to do a trick in Sonic Heroes known as Power Formation Flight. Now, what Power Formation Flight is, for those of you who are not in the know, is it's a trick where you utilize a series of belly flops in order to seemingly fly through the air as the power type character as Team Rose or Team Chaotix. It does not work with Team Sonic and Team Dark, pretty much because they don't have a belly flop or ground pound, whatever you want to say, for their power type characters, which are Knuckles and Omega. So before I jump into actually showing you what the trick looks like, let me explain what mechanics come into play in order to get this to work. That way you'll have a better understanding of how it works in the first place. The trick basically uses two moves at your disposal. The first one is the belly flop or ground pound, as you see here, and the other mechanic that it uses is the glide, which for Big is an umbrella. Now the way these moves work are when you belly flop, you go in whatever direction the game considers to be your gravity. You know, your gravity point can shift at certain times if you didn't notice, like when you go through loops or up an incline, for example. The glide is just pretty much when you double jump. Now the glide can be cancelled if you press the action button, which on GameCube is the B button mid glide, which some people know about. One thing that I would say a lot of people don't know about though, if you're holding on to the action button and you attempt to glide, then it gets cancelled immediately, like so. Notice you can't even see the umbrella that Big uses when he normally glides. Now this in particular is going to be very helpful when doing the Power Formation Flight, and I'll explain why when I actually get there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run through this series of loops, and when I get to the point where the ground seemingly doesn't exist, I'm going to jump out while holding up on the control stick and do a belly flop immediately after, so you can see what happens. Now I won't be actually attempting the Power Formation Flight this time. Now if you caught what happened, you noticed that Big was going straight up momentarily, but very shortly after that you will notice that he pretty much flipped right over, gravity got normalized, and he started to fall. That period of time where Big is going straight up is the period of time where you can do the Power Formation Flight before, you know, gravity normalizes. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now as long as you do this series, and if you can't tell what I'm doing a belly flop, doing an immediate glide cancel by continuing to hold on to the B button when I press the A button, and then doing another belly flop so that I can get that upward momentum going one more time, that allows me to go pretty much infinitely as high as I want to go, which is pretty cool. But I mean, it's not going to be that helpful in a speed running setting. What I want to do is actually direct that angle towards the goal. So let me explain a little bit about what works when your gravity isn't normalized. The further away your point of gravity is from the norm, the quicker the game will attempt to normalize you, and I'm going to show you an example right here. So you see how quickly Big's gravity normalizes when I first start this off, correct? Well, if it shifts a little bit like this, I'm about to do a regular belly flop, and you'll see that it takes just a little bit longer before the gravity shift takes effect right here. Just a little bit longer, not much longer. So now I'm going to show you another example, but I'm going to make sure that the gravity is even closer to the norm. And you'll notice that it takes even longer before the gravity goes to its normal point. So let's get a better one, just a little bit more. There we go, that's a good one. So now look at how long it's going to take for gravity to normalize right here. Even longer. So basically, the further away gravity is from the norm, the longer it's going to take before gravity shifts. Now, when you're doing a Power Formation Flight, you also have the ability to move to the left, to the right, slightly up, and slightly down. However, there is a trajectory that you take on whenever you start the Power Formation Flight, and this is always based off of the ground you started from. So you'll notice these loop-de-loops right here. Gravity is facing pretty much where the goal ring is going to be, which is, you know, off into the distance. That's really helpful. So I can actually start a power formation flight here and take it all the way to the goal ring. So it's a pretty situational trick. You won't be able to use it in all cases, but it does work for a number of levels, thankfully. Think about 5 off the top of my head, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the correct answer. So when it comes to actually changing your gravity or your point of gravity using this trick, or not really your point of gravity, or I guess so, but yeah, more so your trajectory on this, there are 2 ways to actually shift that. One is waiting for your gravity to start to normalize and then interrupting it with another belly flop. The other one is to quickly tap the jump button without holding on to the action button, which is B. That will pretty much shift your gravity for the number of frames that your umbrella is out. So you want to do quick taps. You don't want to do, you know, a hold or anything like that. And I'll show you an example right here of what I mean. So I'm gonna let it shift my gravity slightly first, like that's good enough. But see, I'm still going pretty high, so I actually want to shift this one more time, but I don't want to have to, or rather this time around I don't want to try to time it with the game trying to normalize it. So I'm gonna do a quick tap right here, if you notice that. So now I'm actually falling slightly more, and I'm gonna do another one there. I'll do another one here. So see, now you can clearly tell that I'm starting to fall. That one is kind of tricky to get used to. It's more of a feel thing. You can actually go from going straight up to like exactly where you want to go if you do it correctly. Some people would prefer timing it, you know, with the game flipping it normally, and some people would prefer to, you know, manually press the A button and try to adjust it, that type of thing. But see, notice right now if I hold down, I'm going down really fast, and if I hold up, I'm almost going horizontal, but not quite. So you can actually control how you move slightly up, down, left, and right, as I stated earlier. So when you do this trick, ideally, you want to shift your gravity to the point where you're not really losing that much altitude, but where you can control it to lose altitude if you want to. So for example, you would want to jump out here. I'm actually gonna mess it up apparently, but I'm gonna actually let the game adjust it itself. For this one, I'm more comfortable when that happens, more so than me adjusting. So I let the game adjust for me at first. This is actually a pretty good angle, and if I see that I'm still actually going up too high, then I'll make the adjustment myself at this point, you know, a little fine-tuning type of thing. Right now it seems like I'm actually at a pretty good trajectory, so I'm just gonna let this rock for a while, and when I get a bit closer I'll make a judgment call. Like, yeah, right now I'm pretty sure I'm actually going too high, so I'm gonna switch up, do a real quick tap, and now you can see that I'm actually going down some more. So I got a really good sense of where the goal ring is, so that's where I'm headed right now. Yeah, there goes part of the stage, and I think this is fine actually. I could make one more adjustment if I wanted to. Let's do that. So one more adjustment. Yeah, that was a good adjustment. And I'm gonna glide, and there we go, at the goal ring. So this was basically a more in-depth and I guess visual approach to how to do power formation flight, situations that you can find yourself in, and how to, you know, compensate for bad angles and make adjustments, that type of thing. But yeah, I actually want to do more tutorials like this for different games and even this game, but you know, universal tricks like the power formation flight, and then even specific examples like maybe the power formation flight for Lost Jungle, where the camera can get all finicky and things of that nature. So if you like this tutorial, just let me know, give me some feedback in the comments, I would appreciate that. But yeah, expect more tutorials like this to come. I hope this was very informative to this particular trick if you've been having issues doing it in the past, or if you're just, more interested in how it worked in the first place. But that's going to conclude this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.